Just trying a different recording angle today, and but it's for the same thing that my last few doll videos have been about, which is a box dropped off by BarbiesGBF. Thanks again. Now, I do know most of what's in here. He says there's a surprise, but I'm sure you will like to see. Oh yes, I see the surprise already. Alright, this is the first thing that I wanted to see, is this amazing souvenir doll. Look at her. Get this indignity out of her. I love this doll's face. I'm watching the camera kind of see it as a face and kind of not. It's very hesitantly identifying it as a face. But there you go. You can see how fantastic she is. And she is on a body missing hands, which is fine. I will probably be figuring out how to get her onto a completely different body. And it looks like the shirt actually does open at the front, like this generic Asian style shirt properly does. What does her neck connector look like? Yeah, those are functioning bead buttons. Okay, her neck connector is a cut joint at the top of the torso. So I can probably rig up something to use that. Or I can find proper hands for her. Oh, the body's not great. Displays. This is the original probably saran wig, not actually mohair. It's actually in decent shape, but you know, if I can get her into a purple wig, it might happen. So yeah, she's going to be fun to play around with. And again, that face is just so fantastic. So thank you very much for this lovely vintage doll, and then the rest of these are mostly modern dolls. I think we have, okay, this one's vintage. This is Tressie, I do believe. Her her knob is missing, but I'm sure I can still use pliers to pull her hair in and out. And it looks like her hair is still in the original curl. So I will be using the tips I've learned online for how to fix old doll hair that's a little grungy like this. Mostly I need to get a flea comb. A metal tooth flea comb is apparently the absolute best thing for getting doll hair nice and smooth again. You can use a low temperature straight iron or hair straightener, but the sorry, I'm just noticing that I'm doing a lot of vocal fry, aren't I? But the metal tooth flea comb is the absolute best for smoothing doll hair out without heat. So she will be fun to get renovated. Her face paint's in really good shape too, that's nice. Thank you. Standing everybody up on my desk. Alright, and then new dolls. I'm varying persuasions is this. Yeah, this is a Hong Kong clone doll, but I think it might be a clone of Takara Miki, but I'm not sure. Probably not. It might just be a generic. I'm still talking kind of quietly. And because the camera's closer, normally I put the camera on the other side of the desk and I project to it, so it's just funny that moving it like, what, 2 feet closer, I suddenly feel like I need to be talking quietly. Anyway, yes, kind of a fairly generic Asian baby doll, but oh yeah, I can think of things to do with this involving getting this head on the larger body. Maybe not that large, but yeah. This will be fun. And the Proud Family doll, which I admit I am too old to have any connection to this cartoon. I am mainly interested in the body. This is from the company that makes, oh, her hair is a nice texture. This is from the company that makes Fresh Dolls. So they do have some experience with an articulated body, but this has the wrists that I don't think Fresh Dolls have managed to make yet, even though they've been promising them. So there are wrists in Fresh Dolls' potential future. Yeah, that's really nice hair texture. It's kind of a yaki texture from the extensions that I have used to reroute dolls at some point in my history. I doubt the texture will show up on camera, but it's a very nice hair texture. And yes, like I said, you will probably see another head on this body, because I have no shame. Alright, and Bratzillas. Megan? Hold on, my computer is right here. Yes. Bratzillas Midnight Beach Megan. Which I know the hair is in terrible shape because the hair fiber used on all of these was terrible. But she glows in the dark. Come on. I'm even wearing a glow-in-the-dark bracelet anyway today, because I like glow-in-the-dark things. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of inset eyes or this hair fiber or Bratz in general, but the Bratzillas are just, especially the glow-in-the-dark versions, the Midnight Beach Bratzillas, are just so weird. So I can vicariously participate now in the Bratz resurgence that's happening. Alright. And Boxy Girls. Again, I'm not super fond of their faces. I have seen cute things done with them. Even just repainting the lips, they're a little more square to fit with this square theme of the doll has helped. But I do like using these bodies for weird small heads. It's not going to match this head, but it's like the right size, kind of. I don't know, this has very small eyes. I will figure out a body to put this doll on. And as usual, I'm trying to look at the camera and not the screen, but I know that I fail at that a lot. It says Boxy Girls for body stealing. And oh no, she's the right color. No, not quite. Close. Anyway, LOL LMG. I am not super fond of these dolls, but I love this hair. I did get Virtuelle on clearance a few weeks ago, a month ago, and it's like, okay, I will make an exception for LOL OMGs when they have pink hair. So this one is that exception, thank you. Like I said to Ethan, I'm not a super fan of these dolls, but I do accept it as a valid doll format now. I might repaint the eyes at some point, because blue. but this hair is just fantastic. And I did think it was funny, this doll has kind of a birthday theme, this particular OMG. And her shirt really reminded me of the second Happy Birthday Barbie from like 1982. It's like sheer with dots on it, a high collar with a ruffle, and an opaque shirt underneath with longer sleeves that are puffy. It's just, that's probably coincidence, but maybe not. But, you know, I don't really care about doll clothes in general because I sew. So I will be finding something for this doll to wear. Thank you. I really need to order some of the doll rooting hair that's this texture too. I have dolls who could use it. A Rainbow High Junior High. Almost called it Little Sister, but it's not, it's Junior High. Again, Rainbow High is like my general reaction to MGA dolls in general is that I can see their appeal, but the appeal isn't necessarily there for me, so I will be messing around with them and playing around with them and using them for parts probably. Oh, I didn't realize, I knew she had the bandage on her nose. I figured it was just paint, but it's actually sculpted on. Yeah, I'm probably the last person to figure this out. It's like I have done a custom with Rainbow High head, like did everything not Rainbow High. I filled the eyes in with epoxy putty and painted them, and I gave her short, natural, big quotes hair. And I actually painted her face like a Takara Rika doll. So that's this doll. See, can I get the camera to recognize her as a vase? I cannot, because she is such a cartoon, but I really like the way this doll turned out. So there is potential to turn a Rainbow High into my kind of doll. And we'll just see what happens to her. This hair, this was an experiment. I figured out a few years ago that I have a certain kind of rib knit fabric, that it was cut just from a certain direction that I could actually start unraveling, frogging the fabric, you know, like knitting. If you pull just right, and the fabric will just come apart back into strings. And it had this really great texture that I did a reroute with. So I rerouted this Christie that I repainted with just the straight, frogged, unraveled cloth texture. And it's really nice. And then I decided to try, you know, what would happen if I glued it directly onto the head and then painted over it to make it look like plastic. And that's how I did the hair on this doll, which has dust and things sticking out of it. So I do want to use this hair approach again sometime on a smaller headed doll. Sheath off. At some point, but I haven't thought of who I want to do that to yet. Alright, and then the last two dolls I was expecting, some Shadow High with stuff in her hair. Heather and Chanel. And again, I will probably be experimenting on them. I do like the base ideas of the dolls. Just, I am not into glamour for a doll. And the Rainbow Highs and Shadow Highs are nothing but glamour. He had hesitated to get this because the paint is a little messed up. And so I let him know, I was like, if you're gonna share with me, I don't care about the paint. And yeah, it's already, the extra glitter has already scraped off. Like completely off. Wow, that's delicate. So these two will be fun. I guess I'm going into MGA dolls with weird skin tones. And I admit, if they ever made OMGs with a fantasy skin tone, it would probably be hard for me to resist buying them new. Because I do like a fantasy skin tone. Okay, and I see some of the surprises. We have the head, new Ken sculpt. That everyone's already gone gaga over. So I wonder if I could repaint him with a smile. And there's lots of rainbow high accessories, earrings, and shoes, which I honestly can use, thank you, since I do have a few dolls with rainbow high bodies, not just the ones that you just gave me. And shoes for the, I keep wanting to call it little sister body, the junior high body. Actually, several shoes for junior high body. Oh yeah, those are flocked. This is an OMG hat, right? Big hat. 3D glasses. I have a fondness for this kind of print that they've been using for some of the Barbies again the last few years, because back in the early 90s there were some Barbie clothes that had prints kind of like this that I had. Specifically a pair of leggings that had a red background. I think they were mostly blue flowers with green leaves. So this really reminds me of that, because it was also made out of this same tricot that Mattel used to love, and then they got away from, and I guess they're getting back to it a little bit now on their higher end dolls. And then the surprise is a Cutie Reveal, who is Kitty, and I actually looked at this doll. There was in the last time I was in a Walmart. Somebody had taken the lid off of the Cutie off of this doll, so I was able to take the hood mask off. And or is it a hood? Yeah. And look at the doll, and she is very cute. And I might be tempted to do her color change feature and then paint over it to make it permanent. So she has whiskers and a nose. So yeah, interesting to see how their body is too, because it's like, this is not painted, this is a separate kind of plastic, sort of fused to the torso plastic, which I thought was interesting. Because one of the things I like about dolls, you probably figured out, is figuring out how they're put together is just as interesting as how they look. Because how they look can be changed. And if you figure out how they're put together, then you can start changing that too. And there are a bunch of the reveal things, which I'm sure you can easily look up what they are, and you know what they are, so I'm not going to open them, but I am going to, you know, arrange them in chromatic order, because that's what I do. Alright, so that is the box that BarbiesGBF dropped off today, which will give me stuff to do, just let you know that is everything. And I have been mostly sewing I've been sewing a lot of stuff. That's why I haven't really been posting a lot of doll stuff. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I've posted probably as much sewing stuff as doll stuff. But I'm trying to get a little doll stuff done too between sewing projects. So I can't make any promises, but I will try. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.